my dear students, this is Mrs. Shaimar Gharib and today's lesson about mixed numbers. In this lesson, we are going to talk about understanding mixed numbers, how to write shaded parts as a mixed number or as an improper fraction. Are you ready? Let's start by revising some rules before you watch any video. You have to sit in a quiet place. You should have your pen and a piece of paper to take notes and to solve questions. You should pause the video after each question, then you try to answer on your own. Then you play the video to check your answer and to understand the question in case you get a wrong answer. Are you ready? Let's start. Mixed number. What is the meaning of mixed numbers? They are numbers that have a value that is greater than 1. So their value is greater than 1. They are formed from two parts, whole number and a fraction. This is the whole number and I write the fraction part just next to it in this form. And the fraction part has numerator on the top and denominator at the bottom. For example, this mixed number, 7 and half. I write it as 7 and 1 over 2, and I read it as 7 and half or 7 and 1 over 2. And this is how the mixed number looks like. Is this clear? How do we write mixed numbers? Now, how to write the shaded parts as a fraction. Let's see. Do you remember how do we write the shaded parts as a fraction? From the previous videos, we start by writing the number of shaded parts over the total number of parts in one whole. So let's do this example. I have a shape here. It has shaded parts. If I want to write these shaded parts as a fraction, I will write the number of shaded parts, which is how many shaded parts are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 over the total number of parts in the one whole or in the whole shape. How many parts in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 equals 20. So it will be 5 over 20. Is this clear? Do you remember now? Now let's go to our lesson. We have two pizzas here, as you can see. Each one is divided into two equal parts. If I shaded these parts here, as you can see, I shaded 3 parts of the total number of parts. Each part of these parts is 1/2, right? This is 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 1 over 2. Half of the pizza, half of the pizza, half of one pizza. Is this clear? Okay, so if I want to write this as a mixed number, what can I do? First, I will look at the first one. What do you see? The whole pizza is shaded, right? So this is number 1. It's one whole. And what about the second part here? If I want to write this shaded part as a fraction, it's 1 part out of 2 parts. So it will be 1 over 2. So if I want to express all the shaded parts as a mixed number, we said before, mixed numbers are numbers that are greater than 1, and they form from a whole number and a fraction. So it will be like this, 1/2. So the shaded parts here is 1 whole and half. And we call it mixed number. And we said it's bigger than 1 whole or bigger than 1 and formed from a whole number and a fraction. And this is a whole number and this is the fraction part. Is this clear? Let's see examples. For this example, we said it is 1/2. Do you remember? And it is a mixed number. This is the whole number and this is the fraction part. If I asked you this question, how many halves are shaded? We said each part here is half of the pizza. Let's count on the halves. 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves. So if I counted the number of halves I have here, it will be 3 halves. There are 3 halves. In this case, I wrote the mixed number as an improper fraction. Do you remember the meaning of improper fraction? It is a fraction that is greater than 1, and the number up, which is the numerator, is greater than the number down, which is the denominator. Is this clear? So we can write the mixed number as an improper fraction by counting the number of small parts. Is this clear? So we can write the shaded parts here as 3 halves, which is same as 3 over 2. Now let's sum up what we learned in this slide. We said that we can change the mixed number into an improper fraction by counting the small parts. So we can say that shaded parts can be written as mixed numbers or improper fractions. And you remember proper fractions by counting the small parts. How many small parts are there? Let's see more examples to make it more clear. Write the colored part as a mixed number. We have colored parts here, and the question wants you to write it as a mixed number. First, we said the mixed number formed from 2 parts, whole number and a fraction. So first, what do you think? This is a whole shape, and this is another whole shape, another whole shape, and this is part of the shape. So first, let's start by counting the whole shapes. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 whole shapes. And what about the shaded part here? How many parts are shaded? If I want to write this shaded part as a fraction, the number of shaded parts over the total number of parts in one whole. So the number of shaded parts is 3, and the total number of parts is 4. So it will be 3 over 4. Now, if I want to write this as a mixed number, so the whole number will be number 3 because I have 3 whole shapes. And the fraction part will be 3 over 4. So at the end, this mixed number will be 3 and 3 over 4, or 3 and 3/4. Is this clear? Let's do one more example. This example, exactly the same as the one before. What is the difference? Write the colored part as an improper fraction. We wrote it before as a mixed number, which was 3 and 3 over 4, or 3 and 3/4. Now it's time to write it as an improper fraction. How we can write it as an improper fraction from the drawing? We said by counting the small parts. Each shape here is divided into 4 equal parts, as you can see, which means each small part here is 1/4, or 1 over 4. So now let's find out how many quarters are shaded. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, which is one whole. Do you remember how do we form one whole? Let's continue counting after 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4, 9/4, 10/4, 11/4, 12/4, 13/4, 14/4, and 15/4. So we can write the shaded part as 15 over 4, or 15/4. and they both are equal. What do you notice here? Look at these two numbers. This is a mixed number and it's equal to this improper fraction. What do you notice? They both have the same denominator. The denominator here is 4 and the denominator here is 4. So when we change a mixed number into an improper fraction or from improper fraction to a mixed number, they both must have same denominator. Please remember this because it's really, really important. Okay? Now let's go to next example. Write the shaded part as a mixed number. First, how many whole numbers? What do you think? This is a whole shaded shape. So it is number 1. And what about the shaded part here? 4 shaded parts out of 6 shaded parts. So it will be 4 over 6. So the mixed number here, the whole number will be 1 and the fraction part will be 4 over 6. What if I want to write it as an improper fraction? We said we have to count the small parts. Look at the small parts. Each part here equals what? What do you think? The shape is divided into 6 equal parts, which means each small part here equals 1 over 6 or 1/6. Is this clear? So let's count on how many 6 are there. 1, 6, 2 over 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I have 10 6s are colored. So the improper fraction here will be 10 over 6. And we said both of them are equal. They are the same shape. And what did we say? They both have the same denominator, as you can see. Don't forget this information. Now look at this fraction. Improper fraction and a mixed number. We are going to write the shaded part as an improper fraction and a mixed number. So let's start by the mixed number. The whole number here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will write 4. And what about the shaded part here or the fraction part? It's 1 part out of 3 parts. So it will be 1 over 3. Is this clear? And how we write it as an improper fraction? I'm going to count the small parts. So each small part here equals 1/3 or 1 over 3. So I will count on the small parts. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11/3, 12/3, and 13/3. So the improper fraction will be 13/3, which is 13 over 3. Is this clear? Now it's our questions time. Are you ready? Let's start. Write the shaded part as an improper fraction and as a mixed number. First, I will count on the whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the whole number will be 4. And what about the shaded part? It's only 1 part out of 4 parts. So it will be 1 over 4. So the mixed number will be 4 and 1 over 4. If I want to write it as an improper fraction, so I will count the small parts. Each small part here in the 1 whole equals 1/4 because the 1 whole is divided into 4 equal parts. So let's count on the quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So the total number of small parts is 17 quarters, which is 17 over 4. One more question. Write the shaded part as an improper fraction and as a mixed number. We are going to do the same steps exactly. I will start by the whole number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the whole number will be 5. And what about the fraction part? 2 parts out of 5 parts. So it will be 2/5 or 2/5. So the mixed number will be 5 and 2/5 or 5 and 2/5. What about the improper fraction? We count the small parts in the shape. Each small part here is equal 1/5 or 1/5. Why? Because the shape is divided into 5 equal parts. So now let's count how many fifths are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I can keep counting by 5, so it will be 20, 25, 26, and 27. So I have 27 fifths are shaded, which is 27/5. This is the end of our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any question, please feel free to leave a comment, and I will answer you as soon as possible. Please remember that your feedback is highly appreciated. Thank you very much and have a nice day.